In the MIRRA project, Memory, Identity, Rights in Records and Access, a group of researchers from UCL has worked together with the Care Leavers Association and a participatory research group of care leavers and care experienced people. We have tried to bring together our understanding of records management and information access and governance to try to understand how that can be used to improve the lives of care experienced people.
I left care at the age of 16, and it was in prison where I heard about my care files.
I was a youth worker at the time. I had no idea before then that the local authority has got information about me and my time in their care.
I was in my 20s and I'd not heard that I could access care records.
So when I found out I could apply for my file, then I immediately wanted to apply for that information.
I just wanted to try and put some of my memories back together because it became all jumbled up.
I had some gaps in my history, gaps in my life that I wanted answers to, needed filling in.
I did want to see, like a little pattern of my past and see, how it was written.
I think it was probably quite more traumatic than I thought it would be, even going through the process of contacting people to access the records.
It's meant to take a month, and in my case, it took over a year.
The early impact on receiving my file was hugely emotional.
It was a lot to take in one go. I'd gone from a stage of not knowing the file existed to suddenly being presented with years and years of my life in care.
I found it very upsetting, and I know that some people who've accessed their files are sadly no longer with us because they couldn't bear the information that they read.
I found that it was more years down the line that it really affected me.
There's so much emotional stuff that overwhelms you. You do need to put it down at some point and come back to it when you're emotionally capable or emotionally ready to deal with that.
There's a real responsibility for practitioners to think about how that information might be received, in particular if it refers to a time of life where there was trauma.
One day there's going to be someone like me that gets the whole collection of these reports, and that's my life.
People need to be mindful that how stuff is written will impact on how that person feels about themselves.
When records are written, they need to remember that this is a person.
A lot of feelings and emotions are put across as if they're mine, and I didn't always feel that way. What's sad about it is that my voice is really not in that document. There's 126 pages. You have to get to page 51 before you hear me talk.
There were silly things redacted from my file or blacked out.
In the older records that my organisation has and other organisations have, the recording is very light touch. There's very little detail or emphasis on the actual child or young person or family group. There's not a great deal of involving the young person in the conversation around what's going to be recorded or what their views are. Even as a professional, as you're working on the files, that's actually quite sad because you know that young person is there, but they almost don't feature in their own files.
The records did not reflect the true relationship I had with my dad. The interpretations were inaccurate and the actions that were taken were inaccurate.
It is important that when information is being recorded by professionals, it's transparent.
I think social workers do have a duty as a kind of corporate parent to try and think about the person's perspective and make it as clear as possible.
Local authorities don't necessarily make people aware of the fact that you can access your files.
I've been investigating with colleagues how we can make the accesses much easier for records relating to children in care.
That information needs to be made as accessible as possible, and that's why we've created the Family Connect project. It's one place where there'll be advice, information and support about how to search for information about your past, but also what you might expect to come across in that journey of searching for information.
For people who are care experienced, words, pictures are part of their identity, and without identity, there is no life.
Our hope is that through the MIRRA project and through the partnerships that we've built during the course of the research, that we'll be able to make a real tangible difference in supporting care leavers to exercise their information rights, at the same time as supporting social workers and information practitioners to understand their information responsibilities.